There's a reason those are sitting on the ground. You will see that, let's see, this one over here is supposed to be on the driver's side because of the pin, the way the pin is set up here. Specifically, this side of the arm is set to hold the broader part of the pin, and the other side is just the beep. This would be the passenger side one, same way. This inserts into the K-frame, and this part would go back towards the rear, towards where the torsion bar sits onto a bracket. Well, you'll notice that our perches for our stabilizer bar do exist. But here's the question: why is it on the backside? Our stabilizer bar bolts to the front of the car, which would be kind of like up here. Why would the stabilizer bar reach back and underneath the control arm? Answer me that. The answer is, there is no answer for that. That is wrong. Let's follow on this journey before we hear the boom of doom. And now we're going to go ahead and tighten down our upper A-arm. It's got a set of rubber bushings in here that we can tighten these down to. It's got an eccentric on here. You want to make sure that on the inside the eccentric is sitting within these little walls of this kind of washer housing on the inside. Just make sure that's that way so you don't tighten it down on top of that. Let me go check to see what those get tightened down to. All right, our adjustment is 60 to 70 foot-pounds. We'll go in the middle at 65. All right, let's tighten the other one. You know, I'd like to say that my yard is my garage. And truly it is. And it is wet and rainy. However, I am actually sitting inside a tiny garage. Well, it is not really a garage. It is so small. It's where I get to park a car. But at least for today, we're going to be dry and try to make some progress on here. So let's tighten the other half of this lower A-arm.
Two weeks later.
Whew. 20,000 threads later. Next, our lower control arm tightening. It's got a pin that comes through here. It's sitting on a bushing. That is 15/16, and that gets tightened down to 90 foot-pounds. And 90. All right, looking at, we finished tightening our upper control arm, our lower control arm, our stabilizer rod, our shock, which is blue. It looks fine. Doesn't need to be the original black. We have all of that's tightened down to spec. Our lower ball joint to spindle is tightened down properly. Our caliper seat to the back of our spindles tightened out properly. The bolt heads are showing on this side. Once again, we're working on the driver's side. Next step is to put the backing plate on. Here they are. Alrighty. Yeah, that's quite the snug fit. That blue doesn't bother me at all. It's cluttered, sure. If I had a bigger garage, or actually a garage, it would be less cluttered. All right, so let's mark where this has to be. We're just going to continue that spot there, and we will take it off about mid-bend here. Mark that. Sand this edge so we don't end up cutting ourselves, because you know who will cut? Well, us. Guess we're going to be doing blue. There we go. At least so we can seal it up. Prevent some rust. All right, let's go back to it. All right, let's give. We'll snug the other two down before we ogre at least a little bit. All right. Oh. There we go. Little persuasion. Fits like a glove. Okay, so, well, Tim Kim, nice. We have all of the extra parts for our two rotors. The instructions say that the races are actually already installed, which is great. We do need to do the seals. Oh, are all these the same number? Tapered, rolled. Nope, different numbers. One set. The other set's for the other side. New rotors. They're not light. Okay, we have our new rotor out. Gonna go ahead and check fitment of the bearings. Oh yeah, it's gonna be, that is very snug. Yeah, that's clearly the outside one. Couple of things first. So, when we're looking up at our spindle here, this stuff was shipped with special, a special oil to prevent rusting. It's not so important on the spindles to clean them with brake cleaner, but certainly when you get done, make sure you clean both sides of this. Press it in. See if you can get it in that edge between the inner chase and the bearing. Flip it over, do the same here. Make sure you load up the sides. Do not like the smell of this. Kind of makes me a little nauseous. All right, next we're going to want to put the seal on. So we're going to want to change these gloves off. Oh, so the seal, that's what it looks like on the side. It's going to sit in there like that. So we just need a piece of wood, really. All right, it's good and flush. All right, another pair of gloves. I'm sure all of you have seen this 100 times, but practice, practice, practice. All right, let's get the rest of our hardware out here. We're going to need castle nut, a keyed washer, cap, some cotter pins. Shiny needle caps. More cotter pins. There we go. So yeah, our new bearing's gonna go in. Keyed washer. Lock nut on the outside. Well, castle nut. And there's no reason to have needless amounts of grease on everything, but heck. All right, so the hard and fast rule for setting your bearing pressure: you snug it down, spin it a few times, snug it down, spin it a few times. What you don't want is you don't want it binding, but you also don't want it wobbling. One and 1/16. All right, so cinched it. Spinning good. Spinning good. Okay, we'll go just about 1/8 of a turn. Of a turn, 1/16. Yes, yeah, it's getting hard. So now we will back it off about 1/16 of a turn. That should be good. All right, so we're not aligned with our castle. I don't want to back it off so much that it's just floppy. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll cotter pin this here. We're not sloppy, but we're also not super tight either. But you know what? We can always adjust that after, we go a block or two, come back, once we're driving it on the road and go, okay, let's go ahead and reset the bearings, make sure we're good. All right, let's cotter pin this. Okay, so with a cotter pin, one you bend up like that, the other you cut. And of course, I don't have, trust me, just kind of cut that one off right about there and then just bend a little bit over. Yeah, what the heck. Yeah, or a bigger hammer. All right, let's clean this around. Looks good. All right, so now we're going to mount the caliper on here. Get yourself some of this. Caliper grease, it's a silicone-based grease. This is what you use on your caliper mating surfaces to kind of keep things quiet. Let's see. Okay. Red makes it stop faster. At least I can say they came red. I didn't paint them red. All right, so it's a giant single piston. This particular kit, it's marked with L for left on here. Not sure if you can see that. The other one says right. Well, let's see what we got here. Huh. All right. Well, there we go. And there you are. All right, so this outside pad is like locked in there. Oh, yeah, okay. Inside pad, I guess, is the smaller. There's our outside pad. All right. It's got a hardware kit with it. A couple rubber bands. Oh yeah, squeak or rattle adjusters or stoppers. I have no idea how this goes together, so I guess we're gonna definitely look at the instructions. As you can see over here, the upper part, it's got a bolt hole here. Lower one's got a bolt hole as well. Yep, and then these retainers go on there like that and hold the leaf, or hold the brake pads in. Huh. All right, well, it seems to be the way it wants to be on there. All right, I think I got this. So it looks like this rubber band goes here. Wow, those are going to be hard to install. It looks like it goes around here, and then this part, what's it sitting in here? Somehow you have to be able to reach in here in the slot and be able to pull that up and over the tab. I don't know. We'll kind of put it in there, we'll see. Yeah, there won't be any way I can get that rubber band. Oh, maybe I can go right in there where my fingertip is. Kind of see in there? I might be able to snag on that with a little piece of maybe a nail or a hook or something, because it's supposed to sit on a tab that bolts here. So this little piece goes there. Okay, well, we know how it's supposed to go on here. Let's go ahead and grease this up now first before we cinch it all down. Grab your silicone grease. There we go, silicone grease. Yep, get in that channel. Get in that lower one too. All right, that looks good. Okay, the aftermath. Let's, yeah, stuff not here now. Stuff up here now. And stuff is in the B. Okay, well, so what I'm going to call the boom of doom. Let me show you. This is going to be interesting, I think. So here is my lower control arm, one of them. The other one's on the chair. Well, let's use our B. Well, this is a lower control arm for a '69 Dodge Charger, or so I am led to believe. You can see what I'm pointing at. Let's go grab something rusty and old. So in order to use a stabilizer bar, which connects the lower control arms together, left and right, kind of gives you the ability to use the whole front end to kind of settle down movement of your vehicle. Oh boy, this is just gross. Look at how eaten up that thing is. Oofta. So, when you go around a corner, it's not all just dependent upon one tire or the suspension of it. Or, well, the suspension on one side, but both. Well, in order to do that, people put a sway bar on that connects them. Here's what I'm looking at. Here's the old rusty one. Definitely seen better days. This would be the opposite side. So actually, this one is not a good example. Let me grab the other A arm. There we go. Like for like, you say. Huh. So as you've seen in the video, I have put all of this together. So technically, if the perch was on the right side, the proper side, you would have been okay following what I was going and doing. But now you get to live with me through the boom and doom as I move the caliper and it goes clunk. And yeah, so, yeah, so if the perch was on this side, which it is supposed to be, we would have been fine, but for some reason, this lower control arm, which I picked up off eBay, strike one. And it said it had the perches, it showed the pictures. I should have researched a little bit better and said, perches are on the wrong side. That's like really weird. So I was left with 3 or 4 options. I could grind this off with these really impressive welds on here. I mean, they're really nice, like dimes everywhere, just solid. So I could have done that and then welded it to the other side with my phenomenal welding skills. But we would still be left with a lower control arm that from the manufacturer is a little weak because it's just a couple of bits of steel here without any super good enforcement, just a couple of bolts here and a fitting for the pin over here. People will sometimes weld this up to increase that strength. Option 2, I could take to a buddy and have him do that, and that would probably cost me 2 hours of labor and what have you, so we're talking $600 or $700. Option 3 would be to get a new set, a used set off eBay again. So then I run the risk of it not being in as good a shape as these without new pins. So I'd still be down money for that. New bushings, so basically I'd have to rebuild it again anyways. Well, option 4, which is what I'm going with. Option 4 is going to be a set of QA1 lower control arms. They are made of solid steel through this area, just a bar. It's got a perch for the stabilizer on the proper side. Comes with new pins and bushings. It doesn't come with the adjuster, but that's okay. I have the adjuster. So, that's going to put us off a week. That's okay. So, the work that I've done is valid if you have the proper lower control arm, and it would work just fine on your 68, 69, and 70 Charger. But sad. So yeah, when I moved that caliper, that just made my heart sink. So we're gonna wait a week, the new part will come, and we will continue with this. But all in all, if you have the proper lower control arms, what we've done works fine for you. It should work in most cases. So now we get to explore 2 things. That as it was done already, and then of course now how to do it with the QA1 replacement piece. So maybe a win. Nope. It's good $800 down the drain. How come people don't use dollar amounts on here? They just say it was a lot or a little. I mean, no one's holding QA1 to the dollars that I say, with shipping and tax, Well, that's going to end this episode on My Yard is My Garage. I'm Bishop, your host. Thanks a lot for coming along in this experiment today. It's been fun. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to be hit subscribe if you like what you see. Go ahead and leave a comment. It helps pop me up to the top, bubble up the channel a little bit, helps me get out there, help other people. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I have new content, and I thank you a ton for coming over, helping out with this. Well, we'll see you next time. My yard is my garage.